right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
Chilly change, the cooler air that's coming our way, how long it lasts, and where the ground might be white to start the weekend.
Finding solace.
I had so much hatred in my heart. I was so upset.
Tonight, the father of a beloved high school football coach is talking for the first time, just hours after a judge handed down a sentence to his son's killer. Our top story, jubilation turns to tragedy in Kansas City.
Shots fired on the west side.
Panic and confusion after shots rang out during the Chiefs' Super Bowl celebration.
Everyone started running out of the building, and you could hear people yelling, "Active shooter, active shooter."
Tonight, we're hearing from St. Louis fans caught in the chaos. Tonight, one woman is dead, nearly 24 more injured, including 9 children. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Kansas City police tell us they have 3 people in custody. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski has been following this story all day and joins us now with new information. Laura.
Mike and Kelly, we are learning more about the woman who was killed. She was a local DJ and a mother of 2. Several of the other victims are still in critical condition tonight. It was supposed to be a day of celebration as the Chiefs brought home the Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy for the 4th time.
But you know who came through in the end, that's the Kansas City Chiefs.
But just as the parade and rally were wrapping up, gunshots rang out on the west side of Union Station, sending people running for their lives. A Central Illinois man named Branton Beard was there with his friends in the middle of the chaos.
Me and my friends had actually planned on standing where the shots had taken place before we ended up on the hill, so it was just a major God moment that he was watching and helped us out of that situation, and we were thankful for that.
Nearly 24 people were sent to the hospital with gunshot wounds. A woman identified as Lisa Lopez Galvin by KKFI, the radio station where she worked as a DJ, died in surgery after being shot in the stomach. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves says more than 800 law enforcement officers were there to protect people before, during, and after the parade and jumped into action immediately, taking 3 people into custody.
This tragedy occurred even in the presence of uniformed law enforcement officers who again ran towards them and took them into custody. To the people who were injured in this tragedy, our hearts go out to you and your families.
Even fans jumped into action. You can see in this video several people tackle someone in the crowd. Paul Contreras says he was one of those fans and actually stopped a person carrying a gun.
When I hit him from behind, I either jarred the gun out of his hand or out of his sleeve, because as I'm taking him down to the ground, I see the gun on the ground. So I take him down and I'm putting all my body weight on him.
Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas says he was there with his family, along with Missouri Governor Mike Parson. And while the mayor says they're safe, he is angered by the unthinkable.
I don't want us to have to, in our country, for every big event, think about a concern of being shot.
President Joe Biden said in a statement, "For this joy to be turned to tragedy today in Kansas City cuts deep in the American soul."
Missouri Governor Mike Parson and First Lady Teresa Parson were in Kansas City when the shots were fired, but were taken to a safe and secure location. Tonight, the governor's office released a statement saying Governor and First Lady Parson want to thank the Missouri Highway Patrol, KCPD, and their security officers for their quick and professional actions. St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones expressed her sympathy, saying in part, "My thoughts are with our fellow Missourians and all of those whose lives continue to be affected by gun violence." Stay with 5 on Your Side for the latest developments on this tragic story. We will bring them to you on air, on KSDK.com, and on the 5 on Your Side app.
Developing tonight, a 10-year-old boy is recovering after being shot in the leg in North St. Louis. This happened just a few hours ago near Elias Avenue and North Broadway in the Baden neighborhood. We are told the child was still breathing when he was taken to the hospital. We're making calls to get an updated condition. No word on what led to the shooting.
A 13-year-old Alton girl has died 10 days after she was shot in the head while standing on her front porch. Renaya Stewart died yesterday at a St. Louis hospital. Investigators say she was not the intended target. Just hours ago, prosecutors charged 2 more people in connection to her death. Vito Crowder and Dakota Perry, both 16, now face first-degree murder charges. 3 other men, Alvin Perry III, Rayshawn Colvin, and Keith Sanders, are also charged with first-degree murder. Tonight, St. Louis police say a Chicago woman and her daughter were killed in an overnight crash in downtown St. Louis.
It happened in 18th and Olive, just blocks away from Enterprise Center, where police say the victims had just left a concert. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend joins us live from that intersection. You have new reaction, Robert.
Kelly and Mike, people I talked to are angry and disappointed after hearing what happened to that 42-year-old Chicago woman and her 21-year-old daughter who were just visiting St. Louis. It was a horrific multi-car crash in the heart of downtown. St. Louis police say around 12:30 Wednesday morning, a man sped eastbound on Olive in a gray Jeep Cherokee, ran a red light, sideswiped an SUV, and caused that SUV to hit a Chicago woman and her daughter who were crossing the street. The impact threw the mom and her daughter onto the curb. The woman died at the scene. Her daughter passed away at a hospital.
Definitely thoughts and prayers.
Our hearts goes out to the family.
Denise Miles and Melissa Houston work just feet away from the busy intersection they call dangerous.
People do speed through here. People are getting killed out here, and this is not the first incident.
The police station is not even a block away, so that's sad.
Police say the male driver also T-boned a second SUV. He and 3 other innocent people were taken to a hospital. Again, the crash happened just minutes after the Chicago mother, daughter, and thousands of others were leaving the Drake and J. Cole concert at Enterprise Center.
The tragedy, the impact that happens, it lasts for years.
Cindy Mintz is the chief executive officer of TrailNet. For the past 35 years, the nonprofit has advocated for safe streets for pedestrians, bikers, and drivers in the St. Louis area. The group's office is just down the street from the downtown intersection where nearly a year ago, 17-year-old Janae Edmondson lost both of her legs after police say a driver failed to yield and collided with another car. The Tennessee teen was in town for a volleyball tournament.
It's tragic for the city, for the family that's impacted.
That driver of the Jeep is in critical condition. Tonight he has not been charged. We're live downtown. I'm Robert Townsend. 5 on your side.
New tonight, the Washington County, Missouri prosecutor is under investigation after a crash that happened last summer. Police documents obtained by 5 on your side say prosecutor John Jones IV crashed into a cross outside of a building in Washington County in July. The documents say Jones called a deputy on his personal cell phone to say he hit the cross, drove into a ditch, and was stuck. The responding deputy said Jones's breath smelled like alcohol and he had slurred speech and bloodshot eyes. He also said he found a nearly empty bottle of rum under the driver's seat. But he says he didn't apply for DWI charges or do a field sobriety test because he felt intimidated. 5 on your side normally doesn't name people until they are charged with a crime, but is doing so in this case because Jones is an elected public official with the sheriff of Washington County, confirms there is an investigation, and he's asked for the help of the Missouri Attorney General. Now, you can read more details of this developing story on our website, and just look for Christine Byer's story under the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com.
The man who pleaded guilty in the killing of a high school football coach is headed to prison for the next 60 years. A judge handed down that sentence to Kurt Wallace today. He admitted to shooting DeSmet coach Jazz Granderson during a string of carjackings in 2017. Wallace escaped from jail in 2019 and led police on a chase before crashing a stolen car. And right after the sentence, we sat down with Jazz Granderson's dad. Johnny Granderson is breaking his 6-year silence after a journey through grief and finding the power in forgiveness.
I can honestly say 6 years ago, I had a lot of hate in my heart.
For the first time since the violent carjacking that claimed Jazz Granderson's life, his father, Johnny Granderson, breaks his silence, sharing the raw truth of his journey to find solace amidst the unfathomable loss of his son.
I was so upset, and I was going through some things, and all I can say is that time helped me move on and put me in the place that I'm in now.
Jazz Granderson was a former football standout at Kirkwood High School who went on to play at the University of Northern Iowa and Lindenwood University. As an assistant coach at DeSmet, he was known as a mentor, and hundreds attended his funeral. Years ago, he started a Christmas drive that distributed toys to hundreds of children, a drive that continues to this day.
If someone was to hear his name, just to say he always helped the youth in the community. That's what I want his legacy to be, and that's why I'm still doing what I have to do to keep his legacy going.
Despite the pain of his loss, Johnny Granderson finds solace in the knowledge that he is finding a path to healing.
And over the years, got me to the place that I am now. And
is it a place of forgiveness?
It is. It is. It is. I just hate that it took them to take my son's life to put me in the situation that I'm in now.
The sentence for the shooter was 60 years. Johnny Granderson thought it should have been life.
Tonight, the community of Bridgeton is mourning the loss of its mayor. City officials say Mayor Terry Briggs passed away unexpectedly today. He first took office in 2015 and was re-elected in 2019. A cause of death has not been released. Funeral arrangements are pending.
A valuable life lesson for local high school students.
I want them to be confident and know that an interaction with the police doesn't mean you're criminal.
The new program aimed at building relationships and saving lives. High demand, low supply.
There are simply not enough homes out there.
Tonight, we're helping those making ends meet navigate a tough housing market.
A quick hit of snow and then cold to start the weekend. Why this weather system isn't expected to be a big snowmaker for us.
Tonight, a man wanted for assaulting a woman on a Metrolink train on Christmas Eve is behind bars. Darius Hodge was arrested on third-degree assault charges. According to police, Hodge hit the woman in the head while she was on her phone. She suffered a concussion. Investigators say Hodge admitted to the attack. Tonight, the major case squad is looking for 3 men wanted for a deadly shooting in Cahokia Heights. Investigators say Jermon Williams, Teron Stevenson, and Nico Gorey should be considered armed and dangerous. Today, prosecutors filed first-degree murder charges against Gorey. The victim, Bradford Reedus of Memphis, Tennessee, was found shot inside a home on Mildred Avenue yesterday morning.
It's a real-life practical lesson happening for students at Normandy High School, how to interact the best way with police. MoDOT has teamed with a local business to reach students across the state. New tonight, organizers tell Brent Solomon it's about building trust with law enforcement and saving lives.
Before you get your driver's license, you're taught the rules of the road.
A lot of seniors in my class just got their license and stuff like that.
Now students at Normandy High are being taught an additional lesson, how to interact with police during a traffic stop.
It's dark, we're going to turn on the dome light. And why do we do that? Because we have absolutely nothing to hide.
It's called Doc Dash. Local mom Kimberly St. Clair created the training after a startling moment in the park with her own children.
My youngest came to me and said, you know why we didn't want to play? And I said, no, please tell me. She said, because we saw the police and we thought we were going to be shot and killed. How many children are running around with that basic fear?
She wants teen drivers to know police are there to protect us, despite the tragedies that have made headlines.
Mike Brown actually went to school here. So you have a lot of that reserved trauma of students that are living that out vicariously through what they've been told.
Here's how it works. Students are encouraged to keep all of their important information inside of this bright orange document holder. You keep it in your car right here at the side door. When police pull you over, you quickly take it out and then attach it right to the window.
With our hands in the steering wheel, everyone else. You got a hoodie on, it would be in your best interest to pull it off.
Students and teachers seeing the benefits.
This helps minimize risks and stuff like that, what we could do to prevent stuff like that from happening.
If it's something that can save the lives of the students that come through here, man, that's what I want.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Every graduating senior at Normandy will receive those Doc Dash materials for free. We are about to enter the spring real estate season. Home sales traditionally start going up in March and April. The housing market actually took a tumble in 2023.
Reports show home sales haven't been this low since 1995. In tonight's Making Ends Meet, Michelle Lee looks at the latest numbers and whether the market will be more buyer-friendly this year.
Home sales took a hit last year, dropping to the lowest levels in 28 years. Just over 4 million homes were sold in 2023. That's a 19% drop from 2022, according to data released from the National Association of Realtors.
There are simply not enough homes out there.
Home prices, though, hit a record high. The median home sale price last year was $389,800, up around 1% from 2022.
It's been a great news for homeowners, but very difficult year for home buyers.
The combination of high sticker prices and fewer homes for sale is making the buyer's market even more competitive, and that's driving down home sales. Experts say fewer people are putting their homes on the market because they've likely locked in lower mortgage rates.
Homeowners are loving their 3%, 4% mortgage rate and do not want to give that up.
But there is good news. Mortgage rates are starting to come down, and more homes usually come on the market in the spring.
We do anticipate more supply to steadily appear this year.
Now, if you're looking to buy a home this year, experts recommend staying within your budget. Do not rush on a decision. Look for the right inventory and don't put too many contingencies into the contract. Make sure you're flexible on the closing date as well. That will make you look more attractive to the seller. Back to you.
And new data out tonight shows that the current average rate for a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is at 6.87%. That's up slightly from January.
All right, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with the weather first forecast. It was simply beautiful today, Scott.
You know, we've got to pay back for this kind of unseasonably warm weather on Valentine's Day. That's coming on Friday and Saturday, but it's a short payback period for sure. Next week, City Park gets busy here as we will be looking at City SC taking the pitch next Tuesday night, likely doing so with mild conditions. But before we get there, it is going to get chilly again. Still pretty mild tonight with temperatures in the 40s, even some 50s. We're at 54 around St. Louis. The colder air is not too far away. It is lurking to our north and west. It will begin to filter in as we head into tomorrow. And that transition may bring us a few scattered showers, especially north of St. Louis, more likely as you get up towards northern portions of the viewing area into Pike, northern Calhoun, up into Greene County, Macoupin County. Farther north of St. Louis, the better chance for that. 54 right now. We made it up to 61 degrees this afternoon, which was a pretty good return on that early morning low of 33 degrees. Won't be as cold tonight as that front approaches. Lots of clouds, maybe a spot shower as we head towards daybreak. And we're talking 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Perhaps we get a spot shower here. But if we see that, it's zipping through very quickly. Most of us are going to see little, if any, rainfall early tomorrow morning. Clouds will actually thin out, and tomorrow afternoon it becomes pretty sunny. We'll have a nice sunset, temperatures falling out of the 50s back into the 40s. Colder air is filtering in as we head into Friday. Clouds increase early Friday, and during the morning hours, we think we're dry in St. Louis, but snow or a mix of rain, perhaps a little sleet and snow, work in here during the morning hours, picking up towards lunchtime, sliding through the St. Louis area. While this is coming down, we expect temperatures to be right around or just above freezing, which means if we get a heavier band of snow in any one spot, sure, it may create some slick roads briefly for a 2 to 3 hour period, and then things should improve. Ground temperatures are quite warm. They will come down, though, once we start getting that wintry precipitation. Maybe a band of perhaps a little heavier snow. Again, a couple of narrow bands here expected, one well north of St. Louis, another maybe along and north of Interstate 70. We're not going to know until this thing starts really moving in. It's just coming into the Pacific right now. So as it evolves, we'll try to pin those bands down. Most of us are probably looking at a dusting to an inch and mainly on the grass, but there's going to be some spots where it's a little bit more than that. Still temperatures right around freezing once the snow lets up later in the afternoon on Friday. Then temperatures may actually go up a degree or two and the melting will commence. Now, as we go into Saturday, it is cold. Temperatures dropping into the lower 20s, maybe even some teens, especially if you have a little bit of snow on the ground north of St. Louis going into Saturday morning. Good news is it won't be overly windy. But Saturday afternoon, we're struggling to get back into the upper 30s to around 40 degrees. That's cold. We haven't had a lot of that.
Especially if you think about what happened today.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of that really cold air. And then by Monday, Tuesday, we're pushing 60 again.
And is it this pattern of up and down for the next?
It's more up than it is down, but there still will be a couple more cold snaps before we really can say we're done with winter weather.
And still into March, too, there's that possibility, right?
Yeah, that carries us for the next 6 weeks.
All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
Mike, we have big Battlehawks news. John Mozeliak on his pitching staff, and Roman Berkey with an interesting take on how he should play this season.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
It's interesting, the stages of the offseason for the Cardinals. When they came out of the gate signing Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, people were angry. Some positive vibes after they got Sonny Gray. Then they picked up some quality relievers, and now most experts are picking the Cardinals to win the Central. Pitchers and catchers hit the field today in Jupiter. And you know, they can't win a division unless Miles Mikolas has a bounce-back year. Last season, he posted a career-worst 4.78 earned run average. Cardinal broadcaster Mike Claiborne is our spring training analyst.
He is a strike thrower. I think he's going to have to start throwing more inside to establish that portion of the plate. But overall, I think Miles Mikolas physically looks the part. He's been here. He lives in Jupiter, Florida, so he's been in good shape all year. I'm looking for big things out of him because he does know how to pitch. And that's something we didn't have enough of last year in the rotation, guys who actually knew how to pitch and certainly pitch out of trouble.
And the Cardinals believe they have some real depth on the staff. They're hoping for 200 innings out of that man, Kyle Gibson, and a healthy season out of that man, Steven Matz.
When you look at our starting 5, we feel pretty confident about that group. But then you also have guys like Libator and Thompson that I think could do that as well. John Rahm is someone who started games for us last year. So, you know, we do feel like there's, 8, 9, 10 names that could fill that void if we needed to, but additional to the 5 starters. But, I hope that our 5 can go.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC will open up play in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. They will host Houston on Tuesday night, and then Saturday they will play their first MLS game against Salt Lake City. The response this team got from the region last year was off the charts. You couldn't buy a ticket. Season ticket renewal was 98%. Now, with these long seasons and with such a short time between these long seasons, the goalie had this take.
During the holidays, I was often thinking about, would it have been better to not put that much energy into the regular season, maybe end up in 4th place and just go into the playoffs a little bit further. But as soon as we started here with the team, we had a meeting and we said we are not talking about the past anymore. We look forward to the games, to this season, and I think that's the way to go.
Jacob Jorg and John Burroughs hosting Lutheran St. Charles tonight. The Bombers have one of the best shooters in town, Allie Turner, who will pop that 3. And Mariah Douglas, Monroe's granddaughter, will get the bucket and 1. Burroughs wins 43-30. They are 21-2. Greg Lieb and Althoff have had a good year hosting Centraia, who came in 21-1. Little power ball inside Dustin Collins for the bucket right there. And then Dier Hill Jr., terrific running back, for 3. And Centraia rolls 70-47. Good news for the Battlehawks. There are reports tonight that quarterback A.J. McCarron asked to be released by the Bengals so he can re-sign with the Battlehawks. Last year, he threw 24 touchdowns with just 6 interceptions. That is great news because this guy can really play.
And the Battlehawks season starts at the end of next month, is that right?
Yes, and there's actually a Saturday where all 4 teams are in action. All 4.
Cardinals, Blues, Battlehawks, and
the soccer?
City SC?
Yeah.
Wow, that'll be fun.
I don't think I can take that day off.
Probably not. All right. It was a nice day for a Wednesday wedding. The rush today at the St. Louis County Courthouse.
It was a busy day at the St. Louis County Courthouse. Couples lined up to take part in a Wedding Wednesday on Valentine's Day.
Circuit Court Judge Stanley Wallach transformed his courtroom into a court of love, officiating nuptials for dozens of brides and grooms.
I can get you married in about 45 seconds, but if there are rings to be exchanged, it's going to take a full minute.
Kept pushing things back and back and back, and I had some vacation coming up, and so it just kind of all worked out. We thought it was a little corny, but, you know, I'll never forget the date, so that works out.
Circuit courts are not required to marriage ceremonies. It's a service St. Louis County offers for free, but they still have to pay their $48 for their marriage license.
Let me get this straight. There's a no ring option?
Yes, I guess there is.
I was not aware of that.
Under a
at the
minute.
time. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Be sure to start your day with the morning crew today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.